Welcome everyone to What's Cooking at Our House. I'm Connie Hampton.
And I'm Dottie Phelps, and I'd like to welcome you to my home, and especially to Dottie's kitchen.
Hey.
We're cooking up some good stuff today.
It's smelling good already. We haven't even started cooking.
Right. Well, I got some going over there, and it smells really good to me. In fact, I'm really hungry.
Well, we've got some fresh herbs floating around also, so that makes a difference.
That rosemary, you can run your hand over that, and it just smells so wonderful.
It smells good.
So wonderful. Anyway, today we're going to be cooking white bean soup. And actually, I got this from Connie, and I think you got it from where?
My son.
Okay.
We went to his home for Thanksgiving, and when we got to his home, he already had it. We flew in, and he had dinner prepared, and we had white bean soup before we had our Thanksgiving dinner, which was not our traditional Thanksgiving dinner, which you would, of course, because you started with white bean soup. But I was kind of like, oh, white bean soup. I mean, I love white beans and cornbread and slaw and cabbage and all that. But I just, when he said white bean soup, I've just kind of curled my nose and snarled. But Bill and I both just had a fit. And I said, we've got to do this. And actually, I think he might have gotten this out of Food and Wine.
Perhaps.
It doesn't have any wine in it, but it is food.
Right. Well, they don't, all of those, I get that too, that magazine, and not all of it has wine in it. I mean, not every one of them has wine in it.
But I actually think that's where it started, is where he got it, was out of Food and Wine magazine. But I think everybody will really enjoy it.
I think so too.
It's yummy.
I had a little taste, and so I'm
yummy,
real
yummy.
anxious. Actually, I had a taste. I'm real anxious to try a bowl of it.
A bowl of it. There you go.
So.
And actually, we had it Thanksgiving Day, and then we had it the next day, and I'm thinking that it might have been better that second day after it had time to
had all those herbs have time
right.
to get in there, and if you want to go ahead and go over the ingredients, I'm going to start chopping this bacon.
Wrestling with the bacon.
Yeah.
White bean soup. We're going to be using 1 1/4 pound of thick sliced bacon, and we're going to cut that crosswise into 1/4 inch strips. We're going to be using 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 large carrot that we're going to dice finely. We're going to be using 4 cloves of garlic minced up, 2 teaspoons of fresh rosemary chopped, and a pound of great northern beans soaked overnight and drained. Then we're going to be using 10 cups. 10 cups.
That's a lot, but this is soup after all.
It is soup, yes. 10 cups of chicken stock. 1 Spanish onion, finely chopped, 2 celery ribs, finely diced, 1 fresh bay leaf, 2 teaspoons of fresh thyme chopped, and then a little salt and some fresh ground pepper. So we're going to get this bacon chopped up, which I thought that was a lot of bacon, but depends on how many people you're going to be serving.
That's true, and what you do is you naturally, of course, you want the where it's rendered out, you want the bacon grease.
Right.
But you sprinkle this on top of your soup as you serve it, and as a garnish, and it's going to make it very pretty.
And you can't go wrong with some nice
crumbled
bacon.
Bacon is
so we're
one of my favorites.
In a large soup pot, we're going to cook the bacon over a moderate heat, stirring until it's brown and crisp. So
I'm going to go ahead and take this over there.
You're going to take your paper towel. I got it.
I don't want to take it.
Okay. In a large soup pot, we're going to cook the bacon over a moderate heat, stirring until brown and crisp. And that's going to take about 7 minutes. And we're going to drain that, reserving the fat and the bacon, splitting those out, separating those. Then we're going to be heating our olive oil in the soup pot and adding our onions and our carrots and our celery and cooking that over a moderate heat until those vegetables are nice and tender. And that says it's probably going to take about 8 minutes. Then we're going to be stirring in the garlic, the bay leaf, 1 teaspoon each of thyme and rosemary, and cook until they're fragrant, and that's going to take about a couple of minutes. And then add the drained beans. And did you soak your beans overnight?
I soaked my beans overnight, and what that does is it cuts down on your cooking time.
Okay.
That way you don't have to cook.
And I didn't soak mine overnight. This morning when I got up, I washed them real good, and I put them in my soup pot, and I put a little baking soda in there to take, that bad stuff out of them. And
does that really work?
I don't know. I've always done it. My mama told me to do it. I don't know.
Well, that's true, but I've never really determined if that really works or not.
But I brought those to a boil, And then I just turned my heat off and just let them soak this morning instead of soaking them last night.
Well, I soaked mine overnight because I knew I wasn't going to have time this morning.
Right,
So
right.
I just put them in last night before I went to bed, and they did soak overnight. And
So do you usually put baking soda in them or not? No?
I don't anymore. You know, like I said, when I was a kid at home, Mother always did, and I have tried it, but I can't tell it does any good.
Makes any difference?
Yeah.
Okay, then we're going to add the drained beans, the stock, the 3 tablespoons of our fat, bacon fat that we get from cooking that bacon. Simmer the soup over a moderately low heat until the beans are tender, and that's going to take about an hour, hour and a half.
Today, when I fixed this some ahead,
Uh-huh.
1 hour.
1 hour.
It was tender.
They were ready.
And so just check it whenever
Sure.
you know after an hour, check it and see. And if the beans are soft, then you don't have to cook that extra 30 minutes.
Right. And then be sure to discard your bay leaf and then stir in the remaining thyme and rosemary. Season the soup with some salt and pepper to your liking, and then transfer that into your bowls and garnish with your bacon.
And you know what? When I tasted that before I put any salt in it at all, and with those herbs, doesn't take very much salt.
Really?
So before you put salt in it, check it, taste it, and see. You may find that you don't need any salt.
Well, even with the chicken stock, I figured that that's probably got
That
some
has a lot of
salt.
salt in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would guesstimate, let's see here.
It probably has quite a bit.
Oh, you don't even want to know.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
36% sodium.
Well,
That's why you
I
didn't need
didn't
much
use
salt.
that kind.
Uh-huh.
I use that I get that
Oh,
it
you-
comes in a paste, and,
Right.
and I add
Right.
water to it, and
Ooh,
that's what
goodness.
I used.
Okay. This has, well, not much cholesterol, but a lot of sodium. So that's probably,
Well-
we're probably not going to need any salt at all.
Well, probably not. And like
Mm-hmm.
I said, I put just a little bit in there, but not very much.
Right.
So, okay.
Okay. But like I said, the second day that we had this when we were in Florida, it was even better.
Well, that gave your herbs time to blend
Mm-hmm.
in there, and I'm going to tell you, if you don't cook with herbs, you're missing the boat.
Yep.
I really like to cook with my fresh herbs.
Well, and I think I was telling you that there was a lady on TV the other day and was talking about the food that the American people eat and why it's causing so many people to have to be overweight, number one, plus have a lot of health conditions.
Yeah.
Is because the food that we eat is not like the food that our grandmother ate.
True.
And this guy had come out with a book, and I wish I had written down this information about that we shouldn't buy anything in the grocery store that would not have been there when our grandmother was shopping in the grocery store.
Then we better start growing our own, hadn't
Well,
we?
that was mainly his point was, you know, fresh vegetables, fresh fruit,
Yes.
but the things that come in the cans, the things that come in the boxes,
Yes.
the things that come in the cellophane, so many of those things have got so many
Preservatives.
preservatives,
Those-
unnatural stuff, and so the person that was interviewing him said, "What do you eat?" He said, "Fresh vegetables and fruits."
Yeah.
Very little meat unless he knows, and that was another thing he was talking about, how the chickens are grown so quickly,
Yes.
and
Well, I'm sure if we saw what went into everything we eat, we probably wouldn't be eating it.
yeah, because I used to eat a lot of hot, when I was pregnant I craved bologna,
I love it. I still do.
and if I knew then what I knew now, because I just don't, and I don't know if it's just because I don't eat bologna or what, but you know, stuff like that. But my granny ate bologna.
Well, I love
Fried
it.
bologna sandwiches out,
Yes.
out in the cotton field.
Yeah.
Hello.
Well, I love it too. And I know that processed food's not good for you, so consequently I don't eat it very often.
Right.
But when
Right.
I do,
Right.
I thoroughly enjoy it.
We're going to be using some fresh thyme, and before we went on, I started stripping the thyme, and we're going to be using 2 teaspoons, and I just pulled the leaves, snipped the leaves off into our bowl,
If you'll hand me that onion, Connie, I'll start
Okay.
chopping it.
I hope that doesn't
I'm
make you
gonna,
cry.
well, I hope it doesn't make me
If it
cry
does, I'll
either.
wipe your tears.
That'd be terrible if I started crying. Probably all my makeup would run.
Uh-oh. So if you use fresh thyme, be sure you just kind of pluck those leaves off of your stem, and then we'll chop those up a little bit. But just pluck those off, and ever how much you need. Like I say, we're going to be using 2 teaspoons. And then we're also going to be using fresh rosemary. And I was trying to get this off into the bowl, and I was going the opposite direction than what I was supposed to. I was trying to go toward the end of the stem, and Dottie actually said no, to go the opposite, and it just comes right off.
Yeah.
Going from the top to the bottom.
And I usually, just about anything I fix rosemary with, I will maybe chop it just a little bit.
Right.
But if you don't want to, that's fine. But it,
But it sure does smell good.
yeah. And Connie, the recipe calls for a Spanish olive, and Connie has a red olive. Or
Onion.
a purple purple
This is an
onion.
onion,
What did I say, olive?
Olive.
I
You've
want
had
to
a
tell
busy
you,
day.
I haven't eaten today, and I'm hungry. So just
That's
about
a big olive, baby.
anything sounds good right now. But anyway, this we're going to use this purple onion. So
I don't know what a Spanish onion. None of the displays at the store says Spanish
just
onion.
one of those yellow onions.
Yellow onion?
Yeah. That.
I'll have to change my recipe and say, Connie, yellow onion.
Well, you can, but if you're not.
You know what I was thinking was color,
Yeah.
and I thought, well, surely it's a red onion.
No, it's a yellow onion.
So I'm thinking the green celery, the pretty carrots, and
Yeah.
let's get a pretty red onion.
Well, we'll see. It's probably going to give it a little bit different taste than that Spanish onion. Your Spanish onion,
Is it sweet?
no,
No?
your Spanish onion is not sweet.
Okay.
Of course, your Vidalia is the sweetest,
Sure, I did know that.
and the white onion is the strongest.
Right.
So, and be really careful that you don't cut your fingers.
Yes. Yeah, that core.
Yeah. Because I just sharpened my knives,
Ooh.
and
I'm staying over here.
well,
I'm not going to reach for anything.
I had to sharpen some for my daughter, and I thought, well, while I'm doing hers, I might as well just grab mine out and do mine too. So
So you're ready
that's
to
what
go.
I did, yeah. Okay, we've got this ready.
Okay.
Now, if you want to go with me here to see what, I've got to get over there and stir that.
Bacon, uh-huh.
And we got to get that done before we put this in.
Right, because we're going to put our onions and our carrots and
Right.
celery and everything in. Right.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Looking
going
good.
to it's going to take this a little while to get
It's looking good.
yeah. Oh, it smells good.
Smells good.
I'm gonna
Between
turn-
that and the herbs.
Yeah. Turn that on. Put it on low, and that way it'll get some of that out of here. And
We won't start chewing on each other's ear.
no. Oh, I love bacon. That's my favorite. Okay, that's going to be a little bit there.
Yeah.
So,
And for those of you that, if this is your first time to watch Dottie and I cooking, we get together here at Miss Dottie's house and put together a recipe. And actually, we've sat down back in December or January and planned our whole year and try to do different things. Desserts. We've done some drinks. We've done some dips. We've done some veggies, different kind of different varieties. And if you're interested in this recipe today or any other recipes that maybe you watch on another show, just send a self-addressed stamped envelope to What's Cooking in Our House, P.O. Box 712, Dexter, Missouri 63841, and we'll get that back to you. Or they can send you an email.
yes, recipes at YHCtv.com, and it comes right to me, and I'll get it right back to you.
Shoot it right back to
Yeah.
you. Right back to you.
So, and I've done that. I've had some people that emailed in and want a recipe, and we're really we're glad to share with you. And
A lot of people have been talking about our stuffed jalapeno peppers.
those are so good and so
was,
simple.
yeah, that was a favorite of a lot of people.
Yeah.
And the drunken beef.
Drunken
is
beef
a
was
recent
very
show.
good. Yes.
And people are like, oh man, that
Yeah.
sounds good. And the potatoes, I had the potatoes.
Potatoes were good too.
So the last
And
3 or 4 shows we've done have grabbed some people's attention. And I think one of the things that Dottie and I are always amazed is that the men that watch
yes.
and say, well, you know, I sure would like to get that recipe, or that looked good, or I'd like to cook that, or whatever. So
Well, and you know too, if you see us out and about, well, let us know what you like, what you don't like. And I was in Poplar Bluff the other day, and was coming out of Kroger, and this woman was coming in, and I knew she recognized me.
Yeah.
But she never said anything. But the look on her face was,
I know
you know, I know you. But she never said anything. So it always makes us feel good whenever you talk to us about what you like, what you don't like, and if you don't like it, we'll try to do something different.
Try to do something different, or
Yeah.
can't please everybody. We know that.
Well, that's true. I've had some people wanting me to do more dishes that have less carbs.
Oh, okay.
And so, actually, like Connie said a while ago, our recipes are made up, our menus are made up a year ahead. So, we'll try to remember that for next year and do some that has less carbs. But this is not bad.
Not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad.
Dottie has a collection of cookbooks, and we draw from those cookbooks, and also between the magazines that we get during the year, if we see something in a magazine that we have received, we'll mark it or document it, and we get a big database, actually.
Yes.
And Dottie has gone in and categorized those as far as meats, vegetables,
Actually,
desserts.
main dish. Actually,
dish.
I've got over 200 just for main dish menus.
Right.
And I don't know the others. I have more of that than I do anything else.
Right.
But I was looking at it the other day, and I thought, gosh, I can quit looking at magazines and cookbooks. But really, you go through a magazine, I see something, I think, oh boy, that would really be good.
Right.
So I want to put it in our database. And another thing we got coming up later on this summer, I have a pork tenderloin that is absolutely, you do it on the grill, and I fixed it twice now, and it just melts in your mouth.
So we've got to go outside and cook.
Yes, it is the best pork tenderloin that I have ever eaten. And the recipe calls for fresh basil. Well, of course, here's the middle of the winter, and I didn't have any fresh basil. And it's so expensive at the store. So I thought, well, why don't I just use rosemary? So that's what I did.
Worked out fine.
Oh, it's wonderful. Just
Right.
wonderful.
Great. Welcome back to What's Cooking at Our House. We've got all of our stuff chopped. Miss Dottie and I are headed to the stove. We've got our 2 tablespoons of olive oil in our soup pot. And we're going to cook these vegetables until they get tender.
Saute them.
Saute.
I think for, what's it say, about 6 or 7 minutes or something like that.
Yes.
You know when you're, when they start to get soft, that's when you want to.
And I must say, my red onion looks pretty darn good.
Yeah, it's very colorful. Very colorful.
Even though it's not a Spanish onion.
All right. I'm gonna put this back on our work area over there, and then I'm gonna get that garlic because I have to squeeze that into there.
Right. We've got 4 cloves of garlic we're going to mince into this.
Yeah, and instead of chopping it, I just use my little handy dandy thing. You can put it in there with the peeling and all.
Right.
And squish it in there, and then you just discard the peeling.
Why didn't we think of that gadget?
No kidding. One of these days, Connie, you and I are going to
come
up with something, and we're going to be rich.
Really. And famous.
And famous. Rich and famous.
There you go.
Lifestyles of the rich and famous.
Really.
Right now, I'd just settle to go sailing for a little while.
Just get out of town for a while?
Yeah.
That looks great.
It's so colorful. It's very pretty. The colors,
great.
that green and the orange of the carrots and the red of the onion.
Yes.
Okay. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to I had a hard time this morning when I did this.
Uh-huh.
I think I'm losing my strength.
You want me?
Well, let me see if I can do it, and then you may have to.
Okay. We got to get the garlic in there, sister.
Yeah, we got to have the garlic in there. That's what's going to make this, I think.
Oh, yeah.
That and the bacon.
Yes.
Because you put some of that bacon grease back in here.
3 tablespoons.
3 tablespoons.
Right.
2 or 3. Yeah, 3 tablespoons. Okay, I think we need to let that just about another minute, and we're going to be ready to go. And you can see here how much bacon grease cooked off of that bacon. That was...
we did about 1 1/4 of bacon.
About a pound and a half.
Pound and a half,
about
okay.
a pound and a half.
Yeah.
And of course, there again too, that depends on your bacon. If it's pretty lean, you're not going to get that much. But be sure that you drain that so that you don't leave all that grease in there. I mean, you want some for flavor, but you don't want all of that in there. So, yeah, that's smelling so good. I am so hungry. I'm always hungry when we cook. All right, I'm going to see if I can do this.
Oh, yeah. Good.
That makes it so nice.
Let me get you this little knife right here.
Yeah, I need that knife to scrape that off with. Oh, that's really going to be smelling good here. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that skin out here.
And that's so neat that you don't have to do all that, what we used to have to do before we got that gadget.
Yeah, that just comes out of there. I'll
Yep.
I'll turn that around the next time I do that. And all right, see how that peel just comes right out of there. You don't have to peel it or anything. This is handy dandy gadget. If you don't have one, you need to get one.
Oh yeah, every kitchen needs one of those.
Yeah.
Not many recipes without garlic.
Well, I use a lot of garlic. Actually, I used to grow garlic, that elephant garlic.
Oh really?
Yeah, it's bigger, but it's not as strong as the regular garlic. But the reason I had it, my husband's grandmother gave me a start of it, and is how I had got it.
Now, when you buy a clove of garlic, how long is it fresh?
That's a clove.
Okay, you buy a head.
A head, yeah.
A head,
A bulb or
a bulb.
Yeah.
How long is that good for? I mean, you just
have to kind of play it by ear, Connie.
Okay.
I really don't know. I mean, I get them.
Because I've had, I bought us a big, the sleeve.
Yes.
And I just didn't know how long to keep that.
You can tell when you start to
open it
cook
up?
with it. If it's dried up, throw it away.
Oh, okay.
But, I like it. You cut the top off that bulb, and then drizzle it with olive oil.
Woohoo!
And bake it in the oven, about 350 degrees for...
I heard you talk about that.
Yeah, and oh man, you can put that in mashed potatoes or spread it on garlic bread, and it's wonderful.
Now you do what? You cut the top off.
Yeah, just take your whole bulb and just cut the whole top off, and you do it your root end. Do it on the other end. Don't do it on the root end.
Right.
If you do, it's going to come apart. But just cut that off. Put it on some aluminum foil. Drizzle you some olive oil on it. Put it in the oven and bake it for about 50 minutes or so. And then when you get it out, you just wait till it cools, of course. You can just get a hold of that and squeeze it, and that garlic will just pop out there, and you can put it in mashed potatoes or whatever. All right, I think we've got that going.
Yes.
Now, next I think we need the broth.
Thyme and the rosemary.
Thyme and rosemary. Okay.
And we'll take a quick break before we get those going.
All right.
Let this cool a little bit more.
All right.
Welcome back, everyone. We're busy at the stove. We're coming to the end of our white bean soup. We've got our vegetables sauteed, and Dottie's looking for something.
I forgot to bring. No, I've got it right here. This is
It's
what I'm looking for right here.
She's been chopping up our thyme and our rosemary, and that's the ingredients that are going in right now. And we're going to cook that for just a couple of minutes. Then the last part of the recipe is to add our 10 cups of chicken stock, our beans that we have soaked and drained, and
there go the beans.
There goes the beans.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I've got 8 cups here, and I'll have to add 2 more cups. Because my pot. You want to pour?
Yeah, I got it.
It's heavy.
I got it.
And I'll get 2 more.
Uh-oh. Okay. Let's see. I've got to put 3 tablespoons
Of our fat.
of the fat
Bacon.
in. And I am going to measure this. 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, there's your 10 cups.
Okay, what's next? Have we got it all in here?
I believe that's it, my friend. This says to simmer your soup for about an hour and a half. And so we're ready to present.
I'm ready.
We're going to let that simmer, and that's going to go with Con.
And yeah, what Connie's going to do with this is she's going to put it in her crock pot and cook it that way, and you can certainly do that. But it really about an hour is all it's going to take. Right. But we're going to, I'm ready to present this. So if you want to clean off our space, I'll dip us up some.
Okay, we'll take a little break while we clean up, and then we'll come back and show you our white bean soup. Our mission has been accomplished.
Yep.
White bean soup. I can see the steam coming off of it. I don't know if you can see there on the camera. If I tilt it just a little bit, we've put our bacon in as a garnish. Just a little added frou-frou there.
And it smells wonderful.
Smells wonderful.
I can't wait to taste it.
Thank you for letting us come and cook these beans at your house, honey.
My pleasure.
And everything smells great. And again, if you are interested in this recipe or any other recipe, just send us a self-stamped, that is so hard to say. Self-addressed stamped envelope to What's Cooking at Our House, P.O. Box 712, Dexter 63841, our email
at recipes at YHCtv.com, and I'll get them right back out to you.
And we'll let you know how good this is.
Oh, yeah.
And thanks for being with us. Thanks for watching, and staying there in the kitchen with us. Thank you, Dottie.
You're my pleasure. Bye now.